Okay, let's go back to talking love. For me, it's a hard topic to like put in one box.
It's a very easy topic.
But I'm gonna try to expand my argument. Okay, so for me, it varies with what kind of like structure you're trying to build. So, like, not only for relationships itself, doing something is loving. Creating a thing or creating a hobby, like learning, loving something that you want to understand. So it varies, but let's attack that critical part, that critical thing where love is mostly applied, that which is love to the other or a woman. For me, this will be a mix of shitty ideas, I think, because on my experiences, I had changed a lot of my perspectives, and I don't know, to be honest, what is the best way to do it, because I even had recently thought that the best way to love is give without expectations. My idea behind that is the frame of it. It's Christ.
You were right. My wife said that too. To give without expectations, and she is right. But it's not the expectations that destroyed what I think we had. We wasn't really expecting anything other than to feel reciprocated. Other than to feel love, other than to feel like I was something more than just the friend that we always were. And I didn't feel that. So call it expectation, call it reward, call it whatever, I just didn't feel that.
But see, the thing is, for this thing to work, it should not be a one-sided thing.
Exactly.
Both should accept that both parties should give without expecting. But both are giving.
Exactly.
But
you gotta understand.
It's not only me giving.
There's things that she wouldn't like, and then there's things you wouldn't like, and that's, like I said, compromise comes into play. But then if you're the only one compromising, that's a one-way street again.
Yeah.
So it's like, if I'm going to compromise 100% and you're not even going to compromise 50%, what's the sense?
And this is so really hard to debunk.
Hey,
now.
it's a big tune. I can't sing this because it'd be gay as fuck if I sang it. It's a big tune. Just can't get you out of my head.
Imagine Kylie Minogue, right?
Yeah, I grew up playing Gran Turismo 3 to this shit. This and some other songs, like I had a CD full of race songs. But anyway, yeah, let's not skip and get off the love topic.
Oh yeah, I mean, see, to a degree, the person I recently loved, I mean, yeah, that idea was not mutual, but I'm pretty sure it's the only or the most right way to love. It even is similar to how Christ did for us, saving us, loving us without any expectations. That's why I know the basic structure of that analogy is uncrackable.
Right. And you see how we're gonna see this, and this is why they call me in our school. He did all of that without any expectations, right? But he did want one thing: us not to choose sin.
Oh, okay.
See what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, hell yeah.
He didn't expect us to do anything, but he did want us to choose one thing. And it's the same thing. I didn't expect anything, but I did expect a little choice of me. If that made any sense. Like, it's no expectation. It is a two-way street. And it's just a two-way street. And if like I say, if it's a two-way street and it's one way, then we both go in the same direction. Because if it's not up one way, down one way, and then both up and both down, or down the next and up the other way, then it's just not gonna work either way. But it's a two-lane. It's not even a two-way street. It's a two-lane road.
Yeah. It's like you frame it. It's
a two-lane road.
It's like
There's two lanes in it.
That's true.
And if I'm going to occupy one and do my part, you got to occupy the next one and do your part. If you think of these two big trucks pulling one big piece of machinery, they got to move at pretty much the same time in order for that machine to stay on the back without fucking it up. They got to turn at the exact same time. So you think about that teamwork as they got to play in that street. That's what your relationship is, that teamwork.
But now, okay, the thing also with this structure, the giving thing, and without expectation, it's all of it. That what you said is so true. If the relationship gets to a point that it's like stable enough for you both to have a room to do this, but I guess the giving thing and without expectation thing wouldn't necessarily work at like a early stages of it, at the discovery stage.
Well, I guess if you were giving long before you were ever expecting, then you just to get in the habit of always wanting you to give. I feel like women always expect, they take like giving without expectations too far. They just want you to give, and you're not supposed to expect anything back. You're not supposed to. You're not supposed to, but it's almost like they abuse that in that sense. That's what I find with it. Take it as a dog. You got a nice dog, but you keep him on a leash. You got a well-trained, well-behaved dog. You can let him go, and he's not gonna go nowhere. He's not gonna run wild and do anything. But you keep him on a leash. You only play with him when you feel like. You leave him outside, most cases tied under the tree to this leash. You feed him. You just keep him tied to the leash. One day, he finally decides to take him off the leash, and he runs up, down, carries on wild, and da-da-da-da. You put him back on the leash because, hey, he's fucking wild. He's been on a leash all this time. He was trying to enjoy himself. It's a dog. He's got a life to live. Eventually, when you take him off the leash the next time, he might jump that fence and be gone. Because he realized if he stays here, he'll never live. So next chance I get when I'm off the leash, I'm jumping the wall and I'm gone. Then you got the stray dog theory, where you feed a stray dog, he'll always keep coming back. And it works both ways, because if you even have a good dog and you stop feeding him, let's say you got a good dog, you don't keep him on a leash, it's a different good dog now, and you barely feeds him though, right? Because he always got other shit going on. He'll be alright, he's a dog, he can take care of himself. And the dog's just walking in the neighborhood one day and somebody sees him, pets him, and, oh, okay, some food, starts to feed him. The dog's still gonna come home to you. But in the morning, he knows where he's gonna get food now. And to change this analogy, and make it very quick to the point, the man's still gonna come home to you, but to get his pussy, he's gonna go out and get it in the morning somewhere else, because he knows where he's gonna get that, and he's gonna come home to you. So when I find people that are cheating, it's kind of almost like one of the big first questions I like to ask is, how's the sex at home? Because if it was good, there would be no need to cheat. I just honestly think so. There would be no need to. If it wasn't good, you'd find reason to go. If you wasn't getting any, you'd definitely be gone. But a lot of people are afraid to be alone, so they don't want to leave this person that they're with, so they go out and cheat with a different individual, knowing that they won't be with this individual, just to make sure they come home and have their person
Again,
so they're not alone.
dude, societal pressure.
I, on the other hand, enjoy being. I don't like being alone, but I'm starting to enjoy it because I realize I don't hurt nobody when I'm alone by myself. So in a situation where I feel like I'm not loved, I'm not going to go out and cheat on you to get that somewhere else to come home just to have you. Nah, I'm just going to leave you and just go out and do whatever the fuck I want. So if I end up being alone doing it, or I don't get anything when I'm out there doing it, that's fine by me, but at least I'm not coming home to be tied to something that I know means nothing at this point, because it's going to make me go out and cheat. And if that's how I feel, and I always said that, you know, the minute I feel like I'm going to have to go out and cheat, I'm going to leave. And that's where I got with my, and I had to go. I can't stay. It's a two-way street no matter what you do. There's two in every fucking thing you do. There's an egg, there's a chicken.
It's so weird, right? And
There's a baby, there's a man.
even this,
Up, down, left, right, day, night, yes and no. It's two in every fucking thing you do.
I before I did it, before I back in Dubai, I was so like looking for answers. So I found this YouTuber who's like a creative. He didn't like learn stuff traditionally. So he's like a self-taught filmmaker. That got me to videos, essentially. Casey Neistat, brilliant guy, and he became to the top of the food chain as a filmmaker. So what his ethos was create, which is like I'm going to somewhere with this. So
Take it there. You gotta build up to the peak.
he embodied the chaotic part of his life and then make it like orderly in a way. So what I'm trying to say is, in all aspects of what we do, there's a balance. The two-way road thing you're saying is so true that it even like covers the dynamic of chaos and order. Too much chaos, problem. Too much order, big problem too. It's like always clean, always be perfect. It's a problem.
There's a country song by Alan Jackson that says too much of a good thing is a good thing. And that's the one song that I've come across in country music I'll never agree to. I like it when it first came out, and then as I kept listening to it, I was like, hold on, no, it's not. Too much of anything is bad.
Yeah.
And I'll take it to the flower example. Love is like a flower. Anything in life is like a flower. It needs the sun, it needs the water, it needs oxygen. But if you gave it too much of any one of those three things, it would die.
That's a great thing. That's a great analogy, man.
You gave it too much of any one of those three things, it would die. So it has to be balanced. It's a two-way street, regardless of what you do in life. And like I say, it's always yes and no. There's always two sides. Everybody says, yeah, you got one mouth. Nah, you got one tongue too. But then you realize you got one mouth, but an up jaw and a bottom jaw. Top side of the teeth, the bottom side of the teeth. You got one tongue, but you got the top of the tongue, the bottom of the tongue, the left to the right, the back, the inside and out. There's always two. And the Bible tells you that, I think, when it says you got an eye for an eye, but then it also tells you two wrongs don't make it right. And all I think is you allow two choices in every choice that you get. Should you shoot this man? It's yes or no. Eye for an eye, two wrongs don't make it right. It's either up or it's down. It's either left or it's right. It's either green or it's black. It's always just going to be two choices. Because even if you had to choose between 5 colors, you naturally as a human being would bring it down to your top favorite two, to pick between the two. It's always down to two choices. So people make choices seem hard.
Or
me and Caleb were talking. He asked me what happiness was, and I told him it's a choice. And he's like, well, it can't just be a choice. It's like, yeah, you're right. You know what? It's a feeling that you get to choose. So yeah, so let me correct it. It's not just a choice. It's a feeling you get to choose. It's like, do you want to be happy or not?
Yeah, it's a freaking choice.
That's all it'll ever be.
But
It'll never be money. It'll never be a car. It'll never be a woman. It'll never be a man. It'll never be anything else but a choice.
And now the problem with society is we constructed this society where humans chase this happiness thing. Chase happiness. Well, in fact, it is something you could have now.
There's a cure for cancer. There's a cure for AIDS, but there's no money in the cure. So that's why society has you chasing happiness. Because there's a cure for happiness when you realize it's just a feeling and you get to choose it. And when you realize that, you don't spend as much money as you used to. And if you're not spending money,
there's no
society.
There's no incentive.
There's no society. Society requires stupid people to be alerted by fear and insecurities to go out and spend money.
Yeah,
they need
Ferraris.
They need different opinions. They need to have different teams so they can have fights where the money is spent.
A comparison, something to think about. Instead of like refocusing to the inward structures.
A lot of people would just 6 months. Really and truly, I think 6 months is a lot. You can learn to fly a plane in 6 months. You subtract yourself from society for 6 months, and you just go home and you think. just go to work, do what you gotta do, you get home, take a shower, drink, smoke, do whatever you do in the evening, read a book, coffee, whatever. Spend some time and think. Just think some shit through. Just think your experiences through. Think about how you could have did it different. Think about what if you did it this way, how it could have played out. Just think about all those shit. Just think about your life. And in 6 months, if you haven't gone mad.
That's the hard part. I think.
If you,
That's the hard part.
that would be the hard part. And you come out on top. You'd realize, like, nah, I can kind of subtract a lot of people and a lot of things out of my life.
I think most people are not wired to be able to withstand themselves. I mean, genetically, because you see, it's easier for some to do it and harder for most. So that's why until see, I don't know if I've told this part how they come up with the greatest marker of creativeness of a person. I haven't told it. Okay, so
we did a lot of talking.
They did a lot of research with kids and tracked who are the kids who became prosperous in life. Okay, so what happened was the best indicator when they were kids at the time was not intelligence, not height or weight or choice of diet. The best marker for the people who succeeded had lost their parents before the age of 9. So the idea, it forced them to be themselves.
You know what that did? You know that just proves though. When you said that, I'm an asshole, but they just proved that theory that they said that parents kill more dreams than anybody else.
I mean, that's so true.
And when you said that, that just proved it, because 9 years old is a very important age. You're still young, you know, they didn't hit 10 yet. Yeah, you're not even a double digit. You're still one single digit. You're still very young, right? And those people turn out to make it further because there was no parent in their way to kill the dream. It's either they were believing in themselves or whoever took care of them after helped them figure out how to believe in themselves, and also they believed in them.
Yeah.
Right?
Because
and
they have to.
And it's they have to.
They
almost.
have to, man.
It's just it makes me wonder what happens with parents. It's your child. Why don't you believe in them? Why don't you encourage them to believe in themselves? Some parents do it. Some kids got parents that do it and help them get where they are in life. Well, a lot of parents don't do that.
I think there's more people that doesn't know
There's
these things.
a lot more that don't do it. So it's like, yeah, it makes that theory true that parents do kill more dreams than anybody else, and they really do.
Because this is the model part. They think children are possessions because we technically came from our parents, right? So they think there's some kind of like an ownership thing. So whatever happens to this kid is mine.
Yeah, that fucking thing about mine. And picking a favorite, everybody likes to pick favorites. Parents do it with their children, they pick a favorite child. Not me. I don't pick a favorite. And I'm using this situation with my wife as an example. Like, people tell me I shouldn't love her now, especially with this whole situation, that how it sounds and it's played out. You shouldn't love her, and I'm like, so you're telling me I shouldn't love her for the 11 years before we got married? Is what you're telling me. I shouldn't love you now that when you fuck up as a friend, did something I should care. No, if I loved you, I loved you, and it's that simple. I'm going to, regardless. The next woman, if I ever end up with some other woman, will have to understand that, hey, that's that. And it'll happen to you too if you don't watch yourself. Because I'm very good at loving people from a distance. Because I grew up loving people from a distance. I live in a house with 4 people, and I had to love everybody from a distance because nobody wanted to be around anybody. It was so weird. It's still like that today. I think I finally understand when one of my brothers talks to himself. I finally figured that out. It's his own company. He can get mad at them if he want. They don't have to get mad at him.
Fascinating.
Right? So you get to control that. And that goes to show, that was showing me how powerful the mind is. Is he mental? Are mental people really mental? They're not really mental to me. It's just their bringing up has taught them to defend themselves a different way.
Yeah, I think
And my brother was probably that intelligent from when he was young, that when he realized his shit, Because when the shit used to carry on in the house, he would be the first person to go back in his room.
The thing is,
Play his PlayStation, turn on his game, just fuck off and stay away from the world. I'd be the one to go out to see what the fuck was going on and try to be the hero and help. And all that ever did was put me on the bad side of either side. So it's like, whoa, what? I'm the one trying to help here.
I'm on that page too. Weirdly enough.
So I spent most of my years helping people and trying to help people and trying to watch and see all my friends and everybody get somewhere and do something. And when I hit rock bottom, I just at that point I wanted to see. I wasn't asking nobody for anything, but just to help me through because I wasn't going nowhere. I wasn't making it. And you get this thing like, oh yeah, sponge. Oh yeah, you did this and that. And it's like, all right, if that's what you want to call it that. It's not that I was sponging. I consider you a friend. And I figured if you were down and I was up, I'd be helping you. I'm the one down, you're the one up. All I was asking is to reciprocate what I would have done for you.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I'm asking, is reciprocate what I would have done for you. They say do to others as you want them to do to you. And that, to me, God, forgive me for saying it, but that's bullshit because it doesn't fucking happen. You doing to others all day long and they're not doing a damn thing back for you. And in the minute you say, hey, you know, I'm doing all of this, there's no reciprocation. Oh, you want a reward? Right. But then I must stop scratching you back because clearly you're not reaching over to scratch mine. That's not how it works. And we mean that's not how it works. That's exactly how the fuck it works. The clock is right twice a day, even when it's dead.
So crazy, right?
That hand still got to come back around even when I'm moving. 5 o'clock in the morning, 5 o'clock in the evening, right twice a day. The clock will always come back around, so don't tell me it's not supposed to be reciprocated. It's going to be reciprocated, and you're not going to reciprocate it, then I ain't going to keep scratching your goddamn back. Because what am I getting out of it?
The scarcity, man, of great thinking, or it's the scarcity of thinking itself. I mean, it's a big problem. I mean, if we could just like hide inside of let's say this marshland and like live alone, if it's just that possible to live on like a middle of the forest, we would do it. But the thing is, it's impossible because we need society, we need still social structures.
No, like you said, if you take certain people and you put them on an island by themselves, they wouldn't survive. I could barely survive, but I might be able to survive because I keep thinking, and I always keep thinking of a way out. I always want to find a way out. Like I just asked my problem. I want to find a way out. There's a lot of people you put in there. By the time you come back the following weekend, they're dead. They wouldn't know what to do. They would panic and get themselves a heart attack or they'd scare themselves to death.
First the rule of trees: 3 hours, 3 days, and then 3 weeks. 3 weeks without food. 3 days without shelter and 3 hours without water.
And see, and that's how I would do the impossible improbable again. Because hello, apparently you can eat a human being. So once I figured that you can eat your own human being, like, then you shouldn't be able to die. Because you can eat this fucking tree.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean the tree not gonna be healthy for you. It doesn't mean this one's good for you. You might meet the poison tree, get poisoned. You can kind of know your trees and you know what you're doing. I'm pretty sure you can sit there and eat leaves because the fucking birds eat the fucking leaves, the fish eat leaves, everybody, dogs, cats chewing them. It's whatever. It's edible. You're sitting around a bunch of trees. Eat something. Like you can survive. You can eat the snail on the ground. You can eat the cockroach that ran past you.
Those are better choices to be, by the way.
Right? Yeah, you can eat the fish raw.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, you can. So you stuck on this island, there's so much things you can do. It's just like, it's going to be disgusting until you figure out the one that you like. So it's all about, just say, think outside the box. Can I survive it? Yes, I can survive it. What's the probability? I might not survive a long period of time. It depends. Resources might run out. Depends on how much my body adapts. Depends on a lot of things. But it's impossible, improbable. It's not impossible.
Yeah.
It's very possible to survive the island. It's a probability of you doing it. But that all comes with, to me,
a lot of
things can be solved if people just spent 5 minutes and thought about it.
99% of what problems.
Like my mother's fear of frogs. When she would come home, she would scream at the frog. And wake you out of your sleep, you run outside, think something was happening to her, and you realize it's a frog. And this is why I ended up just grabbing frogs with my bare hand and flinging them away. And like, it just, everybody in the house seems to be afraid of frogs except me. And then I look at her and it's like, you know, if you just really stood up and looked up at that frog, you'd realize he was sleeping. Yeah, he's right above the door. Door's here. There's a little friggin' door frame. He's just kind of right above that door frame. But when you look at him, he's just out like a fucking light. You could have walked in out of that door 300 times. He would have done fuck all. And when you realize that, the screaming at the fucking frog would have been pointless.
Mm-hmm.
You would start to adjust. But you would have to sit there, scream at it, stop, and think about it. And nobody stops and think. I honestly don't think nobody thinks anymore. They scream at it and somebody's got to be there to help them right away. Somebody's going to come out and take care of this problem. It's not, and that's what made me a solution finder. Like, it's like the fastest solution I can find to fix the problem and to shut everybody the fuck up is what I'm going to do. Because I can't stand people going, yang, 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 yang. Shut up. So that's the problem. Find the solution.
On top of the society becoming a little bit, let's say, less thinking or like dumber in some sense, we're putting society now at a stage like people are not moving enough, so they don't like even exercise on a base like routinary basis, which means the mind-body connection is so important. So a well-functioning body will also keep the mind functioning well. Oxygen. If you have a well exercised body, distribution of oxygen is so great, which apparently the brain uses a lot. So optimization of the body optimizes the mind itself, and we're putting so much stuff in between, like social media. People are like sitting now doing nothing. That thing that cleans the house. Yeah, it's a big thing for this thing that I'm saying. So it's like, on top of us becoming less dumber in some sense, we also forget the fact that we're not as mobile, as exercised, or we're not doing more.
I'm gonna tell you something about rich people, right?
Like
A drug dealer never consumes, right? You see this little automatic vacuum you put down in your yard, you go through your house and cleans. He's cool as fuck, but a drug dealer never consumes. The man behind that invention is probably a billionaire who has a house full of maids. Not a vacuum. I'm pretty sure there's no billionaire with a big fucking house.
Yeah. I think so.
10,000 square foot house with his little Hoover Doover, vacuum cleaner. He push a button, he does his thing. No, he's got a house full of maids. Because certain things got to be cleaned a certain way and done a certain way. That vacuum's just not going to do it.
Yeah. And he knows it.
And he knows that.
Yeah.
But he sold it. So a drug dealer never consumes.
No, it's
never. A real drug dealer, a smart drug dealer would consume. Because it sells your product more and it covers your ass. And it covers your ass when it comes down to being sued or getting arrested and saying,
seriously?
Yeah, if you were cocaine dealing, you never did cocaine and you got caught, let's say they caught you with a kilo of coke. It's mine. And they test you and you don't have cocaine in your system. You lied, you were selling it. If they tested you and cocaine was in your system, hey, it was personal use.
Interesting.
You can get charged for personal use. So that's why a smart drug dealer would consume, because he can always plead personal use. I mean, I'm sure
lesser
charge. So
sorry, I haven't dealt with drugs.
If it wasn't in the system, then they could argue that you were selling it.
Fascinating. I mean, the way we're structuring. That's why it's harder to find better people to talk to, meet women that thinks well.
People find friends outside of the world and talk to strangers more than they talk to actual people anymore. That's weird. Everything's becoming so fucking digital and electronic. It's all on your phone now. It's like, that's weird as well. There was a time when I could pick up my phone and get a phone call. If I had wanted to check my mail, I had to go on my laptop, check my mail. And if I wanted to watch a movie, I'd turn on the TV. Now I'm just gonna pull up my phone. Have it all there. So it's all the distractions right in somebody's hand. So they could be out with you and they don't even want to talk to you. They just yeah. And just to make you feel like somebody, they're there with you, but they don't even want to be with you because they got my phone. I think if the phone wasn't there, you'd see genuinely people's real feelings. Could there be no distractions?
Oh man, where will we find these people?
Yeah,
that's a problem. That's a big problem.
They're there.
It's so big, man.
But I guess the thing you gotta stop doing is looking.
Oh, expand. Let them come.
They
Do-
say, they,
you
say,
be-
they say if you don't go looking for it, it'll come and find you.
Mhm,
They always said that. And I keep telling people I haven't found what I'm looking for. I still haven't, and that's why I like that YouTube song. I still haven't found what I'm looking
Oh,
for.
I love that song.
Because it's exactly what
It
it said to me.
is,
Like,
it is.
I've done so much things for this, and I've climbed this mountain, I've done this, and I still haven't found what I'm looking
Yeah.
for. So I realized the song is accurate to me exactly because I still haven't found what I'm looking for. Let me just stop looking. I don't want to look for nothing anymore. What I'm looking for is just who I am. My mother told me we got in an argument recently. She told me I should love myself more, and I was like, you know, every time I look in the mirror, I love myself more because this is who I am. And I never used to look in the mirror and love myself at all. I used to just, oh, we're going out, just throw on a shirt and jeans and hit the road. I didn't care how I look. Now I actually take pride in how I look. So it's like, yeah, I do love myself. Don't question. When you find out who you are, you love yourself more. And a lot of people don't love themselves because they don't know who they are. They're trying to pretend to be something to fit society. And that's why I say you should subtract yourself from the crowd for 6 months. Then you'll find out who you really are. You'll find out, you know, I really don't like that song. I prefer this band anyway. You know, I don't really like that bar. I prefer coming over here. I don't really like this. Once you subtract yourself from the crowd, you start to realize what you really enjoy.
That's easier. It's easier.
And once you start to realize what you enjoy and you realize who you are and what you like, you'd start to play into that character more. You start to go towards that character more than society's character. And that's all I did, and that's how I ended up here. And when I ended up here, I realized this is who I was when I was leaving high school. This is who I wanted to be in high school. So 2003 to 2016 is a big fucking gap. What went wrong?
Yeah.
And me was trying to fit into society and be like society, do everything else they were doing, go to their parties, go to their clubs, go to this, that, do that. And it's like, nah, I mean, if the camera ain't in my hand at the club, I don't want to be there. If I'm not bartending at the club, I don't want to be there. If I'm not doing something that I enjoy doing while I'm there, I ain't gonna fucking be there, because other than that, I'm gonna sit down and look at all you stupid fuckers doing the same shit. So it's gotta be way outside the box, man. You just gotta be outside the box. Be optimistic. And think.
Hopeful, yeah. Optimistic.
Think.
Yeah. Things we can control.
And
Those
you
are the
also got to remember this one thing.
things. Okay.
Nothing lasts forever. Nothing. Nothing lasts forever. So it'll all come to an end someday.
I mean,
It'll take you on for long periods of time. But
okay.
it won't last forever.
A core tenet of my base belief is Stoic philosophy or Stoicism. I gave you a book about it, right? The Daily Stoic.
Yeah, you know, I kind of stopped reading that too.
Yeah, but
That's weird. That's
one
reminded me of that.
the December part is the most amazing part. When you get there, you'll know. But let me give you a primer for it. It talks about death a lot.
Yeah.
There are 31 arguments on why the case of reflecting on death is so important for us human beings, which the average person, 99% of the 7.7 billion of us, wouldn't like be wouldn't be like tackling that fear of death.
That's me too. But
And then it became a core part of how I move on a daily basis, or on a per moment to moment basis. I act like as if I die after this talk, let's say, I would be freaking okay, because I know moment to moment.
why would you be okay?
Because, okay, another part to that is, on the average person from my country, I'm from the Philippines, the average guy haven't even touched what I have touched. I mean, haven't experienced what I have experienced. I'm so freaking ungrateful if I put the shit to whoever is up in the clouds, or let's say the Judgment Day, and I'm gonna tell him that, why did you take me? But it will be so ungrateful of the experiences, the magnificent people I've met, the decisions at the time that I've never thought of like questioning. I'm pretty sure I made all the best decisions given the resources or the moment I was opportune at the time.
I want to say why death is a big topic. It's because a lot of people are afraid of death. That's why.
That's why. Yeah,
why it's a
99%. 99%.
So my question when I ask you why is it you'd be comfortable with going, it's because I want to ask why do you think people are afraid of death?
Why?
Everything I'm saying is only in theory of what with my experiences, my knowledge, what I've gained, what I've learned. When I say these things, it's only what I think it is to me. It could be right, it could be wrong, but I'm not always right, but I'm usually never wrong in that sense too. People are afraid of death because a lot of people are living a lie.
Oh, interesting.
And because they know there is a superior being, whether it's God, Buddha, whoever you praise, everybody knows that ultimately, regardless of religion, there's just one superior being. We can feel this. And they're afraid of death because they're living a lie. And they got to square with this being. When that time comes, that judgment day comes, they have to deal with the truth then. And that's the only reason I think you'd be afraid to die. It's because you know that you're living a lie. You're not living the truth, you're not living by the truth. And if you died, you'd have to square with that. So I don't want to die. I want to stay alive as long as I can. That's what Rockefeller was trying to do. All the evil he did, he knew when he was dead, he'd have to square a judgment day with whoever the fuck that was. And that was scaring him. So the money could keep him alive. He had, 3, 4, 5 heart transplants. Just keep giving me these motherfuckers. I want to live. I don't want to die. Don't want to square with them. So people who are afraid to die are afraid of facing the truth. That's the only way I can put it.
Because the truth is, we're gonna die.
We're all going to die.
We're gonna die.
We're all going to die, and that's the truth of it. And people who are afraid to die are afraid of facing the truth.
It's just a matter of when. How? But the thing, it doesn't matter. What you do with the ample time that we have, that's why I'm living moment to moment.
If you're afraid to... So I don't want to say this because of what my wife is going through. So you know what? I'm not even going to say it. I'm not. Because if you weren't afraid to die, you got bad news about something, you just go out and live. You wouldn't condone yourself to a hospital for hospital treatment. You just go out and live. Because you ain't afraid to die. Like, it's coming to us at all. Every one of us is going to face it. So if I cheated today, it's still got to catch that motherfucker someday.
Yeah, that's a core component of,
you know what I mean?
How to enjoy the ample time that we have. I mean, it's limited. Don't freaking waste your time on your freaking smartphones, man. Don't make yourself be in a relationship that doesn't work. I mean, the time is limited.
That's why I was telling people, like, if I'm in a job and I got an offer and it's better, I would go, right? It's a relationship. If I'm in a relationship and somebody's giving me better, why do I have to stay? Oh, well, you know this person already, and this is a new experience. You gotta get to know this person all over again. It's the same thing getting a new job or even a new car. Because the new car that you're going to buy, it's going to be different than the last car that you bought the exact same car back again. But you're an idiot, right? So you didn't learn nothing. Especially if the car was good to you and you bought another one, cool. But if the car was shit to you and you never learned and you bought the same car again, you're an idiot. Just I don't get how hard it is for people to think that way.
The thing is, I'm gonna add more to this thing. It's not like I just read a book, it became something that I apply. I almost died a lot of times also, and it forced me in a way to think like this. One, in the middle of a shitty storm in a small boat. I don't know how we survived it at the time, the boatman. Second is first one to that is I'm climbing this mountain in Malaysia where I didn't thought that there was use for the gloves they put for the hikers there, because technically you're like gonna be grabbing ropes vertically. The climbing part is the easy part. The going down part is harder because you're gonna hold your gravity.
You said
Your
you were in
weight.
a small ship in a storm.
Yeah,
Did you have faith during that?
I had at the time.
That's the reason. You're probably the reason why the boat made it. The Sea of Galilee, right?
Mhm.
With the storm of Jesus in it. Small boat, big storm, tossing this little boat around, and they survived. And I think about what you were saying, and I think about the story, and it almost has a similarity. And I thought to myself, right, just an analogy very quickly came. Somebody on your boat had faith. Because the reason why the Sea of Galilee, the boat survived, Jesus was on the boat. And he was the one person on the boat that was just, yeah, okay. But he's just, okay, yeah, it's rough, it's just chilling. It's a storm, you know? He had faith. And I think nature responds to you. I'm riding on that now. Because it's like a wild dog. It's like any dog. When a dog barks at you, when you get scared, the dog barks more because he knows you're afraid.
Yeah.
But when
that's
you
true.
stop and you look at the dog with no fear, the dog will just,
And
and he'll stop.
let's add to that, by nature, any predator, when you turn yourself around, they will attack you.
But
So
it-
that's why don't run away from dogs.
Don't run and don't. You gotta turn around, you know. But it's how you do it. Because you turn around and look at him, if he can't see the fear in you, he has no reason to attack. He's gonna start to approach you because he is a natural predator, but he's gonna take his time. And one of the things I like to do, especially with dogs, as they start to approach me in that aspect, I just stick my hand out. Further away, it's far from me now. It's just my hand, so they can come contact with my hand first, and they'll sniff my hand. And when they start sniffing me, they realize, okay, he ain't got no fear. So I'm like, what the fuck I gonna do now? I can't bark, you know, and then I touch him. And some dogs will, don't touch me. Some dogs will be like, oh, you can touch me. It's just, you tackle it with me. When you walk through the valley of the evil, you should have no fear. Bible told you that. So when you are in this ship being tossed by the sea and it's doing this and it's doing that, that is what you call the valley of evil. At this point, have no fear. If your boat sinks and crashes, everybody in the boat had fear. If the boat survived, one person had no fear. Low. It's gone low, I think.
Yeah.
Hold on, I don't think it's dead. Where should we go? Pull out the light. I don't know.